All right, so we are here to talk about collaborative design using small scale design projects to make a significant impact. I will be using Slido today. Let me go ahead and copy the link to it too, um, and I'll put that in the chat. But you can also, oh, let's see, let me do it. We'll get it. There we go. All right. So I have the link in the chat, but you can also just scan the QR code with your phone. The interface is really cool on your mobile device. And I'll release some poll questions throughout the presentation, but also it has a wonderful interface for Q&A. You can post to them anonymously. You can upvote. It's really great. So I'll look at both the Zoom Q&A and the Slido Q&A when we're done, when we're wrapping up. All right. So this is something that I love to use to introduce myself. This is kind of a network self concept that really appeals to me. It kind of shows how every part of ourselves is connected and somehow, contributes to our success in our roles as change makers, as educators, our personal roles. So this is great. It comes from a philosopher, Kathleen Wallace, and I totally stole it from Doug Neal of Simply Sketched. So um, big plug for him. All right. So for those of you who are not aware, the University of West Florida is a comprehensive regional university in Pensacola, Florida. We are in the Western Gate to the Sunshine State with over 13,500 students. We are a member of the Florida State University system, and we offer a diverse array of academic programs bolstered by a dedicated faculty and robust student services that actively foster an environment that encourages student success from enrollment to graduation. I work in the Center for Teaching, Learning, and Technology. We are a dynamic support hub within our Academic Affairs Division. Our mission focuses on teaching and learning while also emphasizing a commitment to quality support, collaborative partnerships, and innovative use of technology across our campus. So post-pandemic, our stakeholders expanded from just fully online faculty to pretty much all instructional staff and even student support staff at UWF. We're pretty much all using technology in some way, shape, or form. Every course has a Canvas shell. So every course really utilizes some form of technology, whether in a traditional classroom or fully online. We are a small but mighty team with a big mission. We aren't able to fully design or redesign every course at UWF. But one of the ways that we foster positive stakeholder relationships is through these small collaborative design projects that we're going to talk about today. So small scale design projects really involve collaborative efforts between faculty and instructional designers or media specialists to address specific instructional challenges or enhance course content on a small scale. So they aim to foster innovation, creativity, and effective teaching strategies within the context of individual courses, modules, or even just assignments. If someone is resistant to revising an entire class, perhaps they're willing to focus on one or two elements that aren't working well. Even these small changes can make a big impact on the student experience and can start the dialogue about what should happen next. Work is shared by both parties, and the focus can be different with each project. Sometimes we hand over a finished product, and sometimes we get the project started and then let the instructor take over. And just a note, I'm probably going to use faculty, instructor, um, instructional staff all interchangeably. And really, it just means anyone who teaches at UWF, those are our stakeholders. So for me, the question is, how small is small? For me, small scale design projects are those that are limited by either scope, time frame, or resources, or really all three in most cases. So these projects focus on specific course components or modules rather than the entire course. They are projects that are completed within a defined time frame, from anywhere from a few weeks to a semester, or maybe an academic year if we're pushing it. And then the projects require kind of a manageable level of resources. So, faculty and instructional designer time, technology, and funding. So small design projects fit within our larger instructional support offerings. Instructor support is kind of the first point of contact with the CTLT, where instructors can seek guidance on specific queries such as technology functionality. One-on-one consultations kind of build on that and provide personalized support tailored to individual needs and challenges of instructors, covering areas such as pedagogical strategies, assessment design, technology integration, accessibility considerations, and learning analytics, kind of the basics of learning analytics. These small design projects are kind of the introduction to instructional design projects for us. They take a more hands-on approach to course improvement, involving targeted interventions to address specific instructional challenges, or implementing innovative teaching strategies within a course or a module. So these projects may stem from the one-on-one consultations where the specific needs and challenges are identified. So full course redesigns entail comprehensive overhauls of course content, and that's just not feasible for every relationship we have with faculty, and every connection with faculty, not only from our capacity but also from the faculty perspective. They just might not be ready for that. So we just have to prioritize those larger instructional design projects accordingly. Also, ultimately, our goal is to encourage faculty engagement and research activities that investigate the effectiveness of specific teaching strategies, assess the impact of instructional interventions, or explore innovative approaches to teaching and learning. Instructional designers can really contribute to that research by demonstrating the impacts of the course design strategies on student outcomes, persistence, and degree completion. And those research findings can be shared through publications, presentations, and professional development opportunities, thereby contributing to the larger body of knowledge in higher education. So we can also look at this as kind of a spectrum reflecting the role or relationship between instructional designers and instructional staff. I will be honest, I think we all find ourselves anywhere along the spectrum with any one person at any one time. I still have faculty who email me for support with, importing question banks, very basic things. How do I email students before a semester? How do I connect course sections in Canvas? Those very low level functionality questions, they still do that with me. They need me when they need me, and nothing really changes that. But I also have faculty who view me as a partner and a collaborator, really a professional with knowledge, skills, and abilities that they value. So these small scale design projects, I really feel they were the catalyst for this shift. And as I collaborated closely to with them to develop the project scope, to identify design interventions, and implement innovative teaching strategies, I actively contributed my expertise in instructional design, technology integration, and pedagogical best practices, while the faculty provided subject matter expertise and insights into course content and student learning needs. Through that collaboration, it's I think it's safe to say that those deeper and more meaningful stakeholder relationships are really important to stay engaged and inspired and to grow in our careers as instructional designers, and especially in higher education. So our first Slido is kind of ranking the importance to you of these different levels or stages of instructional support. So kind of where do you find yourself most often? What do you value the most in that spectrum of instructional support? And I'd be interested to kind of see where we fall, because I think I have an idea of of where I fall in that. But everyone at different levels of your career might find yourself on different places of that spectrum. Yep. Awesome. Thank you so much for participating. This is great. You guys are fabulous. Okay. We'll come back to these polls and see them later when we're wrapping up. But I think it's fair to say that, instructor support is really important. It is, really the first face of our units. It's the entry point for faculty. And if you don't provide quality instructor support, they're never going to go beyond that. You're never going to build that relationship with them where they trust you with their course, they trust you with their information, they trust to tell you what is not working. I think that's a big part of those one-on-one consultations as well, building the trust. So, okay, we'll move on, but feel free to continue to post your ranks, and we'll come back to it and see if it's changed any. But it looks like it's a fair thing. Yeah, and full course design. I know a lot of institutions, they have where full course design and redesign is mandatory on a rotating basis. We are not like that, but I know, larger units are able to handle that. So I'm not surprised by that rank at all. All right. So moving on to what everyone came here for, here are some example projects, and I'll just go through a few of them for sake of time, but you'll see none of them are revolutionary. They're all achievable. I'm not saying that I'm a master of anything. It's just these are kind of what we're talking about here. So sketchnoting as a study skill is one example. We did this with a nursing faculty. So it's a module that is in her patient-centered care lab. It introduces sketchnoting to visually represent concepts from the course and improve recall accuracy and speed as they prepare for an online nursing megacode, which is basically where people come in, they act like they're actors who are presenting with symptoms, and the nursing students practice diagnosing and doing all of those things. So the module included an instructional video, a Google site with faculty and GA resources, and a fully developed discussion board assignment that included an assessment rubric. So the nursing faculty knew they needed something different to prepare their students, but they were just unsure of how to implement something creative into the online environment. I brought my knowledge and passion for sketchnoting to the table, as well as instructional design experience to create really a plug and play option where it provided them everything they needed to succeed. Just a video explaining sketchnoting would not have been enough in this case. They really needed assessment strategies and student communication and resources. They needed more than a consultation where you leave the work really on the faculty, but less than an entire course redesign. The faculty supported the design, but had concerns about student perception and whether sketchnoting would actually help with recall. So despite sharing all the research and indicating all the research that indicated otherwise, we proceeded with caution. Early student feedback was positive, indicating that this strategy was helpful for nursing students in explaining advanced concepts to patients and looking at information in a new way. It's important, I think, to highlight here the instructor and her team actually presented this module at a conference, and we shared the resources with another nursing school outside of our state. So this module is fairly generic. It can start fairly generic, and then it can be customized and shared with both internal and external partners across multiple disciplines. They can be kind of a starting point for future development. And we've actually added this one to our resource repository, so it's kind of just a standardized thing that we can adjust as needed. So small scale does not mean single use in this case. So another one we did was digital storytelling. So this is a larger scale assignment that is completed over the course of an entire semester. This particular course was an honors seminar in plagues, pandemics, and peoples, and we wanted the students to tell their pandemic story. So in that case, it is kind of in a snapshot in time, but we can strip some of the specifics of the assignment and share it more generically. So the assignment materials included a video about storytelling tradition and digital storytelling. We included a guide to storytelling technology so that the instructor didn't have to put that together. We came up with a timeline of discussion topics and deadlines so that students would be guided through each stage of the assignment. So they had to turn in their topic proposal, their script, their storyboard, and their final project. And so they built on top of each other throughout the semester. And we also created an icebreaker activity where students practiced storytelling and that storytelling arc by sharing the story behind their names. So I also conducted a special workshop for the instructor's students where we discussed storytelling and developed ideas together in real time. The students provided positive feedback overall, and their stories turned out to be phenomenal, just amazing products. And the instructor has actually incorporated this assignment into other classes, continues to use the resources that we created together. And as a result, she's grown more confident in guiding the students' use of technology. So she requires less support and guidance now. While we may not typically associate social sciences with digital transformation, I think this experience really will benefit her students in their future professional careers. So it was a fun one. Shifting into something a little less snazzy and pretty, and a whole lot more technical. Here we have an interactive modeling with Canvas quizzes. It's from an operations management course. And the Canvas quiz gives students the opportunity to practice intermediate stages involved with calculating expected project time and the probability that a project will be completed by a target date. So the process includes a lot of short steps. Even a small 6-step project requires more than 50 calculations. And so the instructor wanted to give online students the same kind of step-by-step feedback that she would give in a face-to-face class. In this case, we used built-in Canvas quiz functionality to present the problem step by step and provide feedback based on the student responses. The feedback has been really positive. So we set this up in 2020, and since it's helped over 900 students in this course, in multiple sections of this course, and we've also onboarded other faculty who teach this course, and they're using the assignment as well. We reached out to Canvas support for assistance in the class, and they even made a comment about how incredible it was, all the work that went into this quiz. So the instructor would not have been able to dedicate the amount of time. She had all of the information, but it needed to get into Canvas in some way. So I was able to be the mediator there and make sure everything was accessible, make sure everything functioned the way that we needed it to. And so it really was a matter of marrying those two, our abilities, our skills and abilities, to really create something positive for students. And then she also extended it into research, where she wrote a peer-reviewed paper, and I'm actually listed on that as a co-author. So another one that seems really small and really logical, like, why wouldn't you do this? Kind of dynamic Canvas homepages. So in this particular situation, our instructor for elements of statistics wanted to improve course communication with dynamic, customized Canvas homepages that evolve throughout the semester. So each homepage prioritizes access to essential course materials, fostering an efficient and organized learning experience for educators and students. The instructor learned HTML language through the design process, and now she could edit the homepages herself. She has almost a new homepage every week, and it's really worked well for her and her students. Students indicate that they like having that changing homepage. It's helpful to have everything that they need in one place. Instructors find it easier to provide the relevant information on homepages rather than announcements, and they can use those announcements as more of a communication for shorter messages, updates, and they don't have to worry about the formatting getting stripped out of the announcements when it goes into a student's email. So one byproduct of this, or one part of this process, was forcing the instructor to look at and plan out her entire semester timeline and communication strategy to identify key times that the homepage needed to be updated, key elements that students needed at those times, and it just made the teacher to student interaction much more intentional for her. And that was not the original intention of the project, but it was just kind of a byproduct of, best practices. So also, kind of one last one that's a little drier, is program assessment using Canvas. So our College of Business was trying to administer a core learning assessment survey online, and they were just really having a problem launching it. And so it has a larger scope because it's all of all the College of Business students in these in these few particular courses, but I was able to bridge that gap and really get everybody on the same page, implementing the same assessment strategies in all the courses, matching outcomes and question banks, and just really navigating the technology so that the faculty could focus on writing the questions and linking them to the student learning outcomes. And then we were able to take all of that data out, so that there wasn't any manual data entry, which really made them super happy. um, all right. So that was a lot of talking, and let's get to clicking. I'm curious, have you encountered any resistance from faculty when proposing instructional design projects? If so, what were the main reasons? And if there's not an answer here that makes sense, you can select as many that apply. But if there's not a logical one, you can also post in the chat. I'm just curious. Um, yeah, I think we've all heard it, but um, okay. Okay. So we're gonna win. I can't help but make an acronym. Um, yeah, faculty who thank you, Mary. You've had faculty who think their way is the best way and don't understand the need to change. That is true. That is a good one. And I think these small scale design projects really give a glimpse into the possibility. It helps you make the case for the need to change, especially when changing a large class is kind of daunting, but if you can focus on one or two things, then I think that really does help move the needle with them. So I couldn't help but make an acronym because I am an instructional designer. I think it comes with the territory. So we're going to win WIN with small scale design. So W, we're going to wow your faculty. um, small um, small scale projects offer faculty the chance to achieve tangible outcomes within a manageable scope. So we're addressing these concerns. The smaller scale of these projects can actually make them less intimidating for faculty, especially those new to either online or new to the technology or new to the idea of using an instructional designer. So it's just less intimidating for faculty. It's a quicker win. Quick feedback loops facilitate iterative improvements and timely assessment of the impact on student learning. We're assessing the impact, and they can really show, they can show that, or you can help them see that their effort actually made a difference, in really quick time. Personalized support and guidance are tailored to the faculty needs and interests. So it eliminates unnecessary distractions. Sometimes it's just overwhelming to think of the entire class. It's overwhelming to think of all of the technology. So we can really narrow their focus to just what they need, and then they feel success, and then they can move on from that. Iterative refinement based on feedback leads to scalable innovations with a significant impact on teaching and learning. I think just continuous improvement really helps, because you don't have to tackle all of it right now. You can set a goal for right now, and then a push goal for later, and those that can really help um, make those boundaries, and make people more comfortable with the ideas there. So I for improve relationships. So we want to move past this idea of helper, and facilitate some meaningful relationships with our stakeholders. We want to be seen as professionals. We want to be seen as collaborators and partners in this work. So establishing open lines of communication is crucial for fostering collaboration on these shared goals and objectives. You both can shine, you both can be successful. You're both really, the MVPs on these. By emphasizing the benefits of collaboration, such as improved student outcomes and enhanced teaching effectiveness, we can really shift that and improve our stakeholder relationships. And then it really does help and nurture smaller instructional design units. We don't all have all of the resources that we need. And so these small scale design projects empower smaller units by allowing them to leverage their expertise effectively. We possess specialized knowledge and skills that can be invaluable in collaborating with faculty on course design and improvement initiatives. But stakeholders may not realize what a treasure trove you are. So having these quick wins and being able to communicate with these quick wins and having that narrative built in of here's the problem, here's what we did, and here's how it impacted our students really helps tell that story. The flexible nature of the small scale projects enables smaller units to accommodate varying faculty needs and resource constraints. This adaptability allows you to provide tailored support and solutions that meet the unique requirements of individual faculty members and or departments. And also engaging in collaborative projects presents an opportunity for smaller units to build their capacity and establish themselves as valuable resources within the institution. By demonstrating your effectiveness in supporting faculty development and enhancing student learning outcomes, you can strengthen your position within your academic community. And one last Slido that will show up in a word cloud. What do you believe are the potential benefits of small scale design projects for enhancing teaching and learning at your institution? Don't everybody respond all at once. I know it's a little intimidating, and we'll leave this one and we'll come back to it. But I like these already. Awesome. Thank you. So some key takeaways before we go into question and answer, because I know I'm aware of everyone's time. Just some key takeaways. I always like to find like 3 bullet points. So if you take nothing else away from this, I want to just reinforce the idea that collaboration leads to unique solutions and improved outcomes. Small does not mean less. I probably should have put that one at the top. It really is a passion of mine to say that small is not less engaging. Small projects are not less meaningful. They're not less impactful. They are reusable, they are professional, they are high quality, they are high opportunity for instructional designers or any faculty supporting role to really enhance those relationships and, again, move the needle for students and impacting student experience. And then the last one, small targeted efforts can have a lasting impact. So, as we've seen with the examples, these are still things that are being used today. They're impacting hundreds of students every year, every semester, and they really enhanced the course that was already there, and enhanced the relationship with the faculty as well. All right. I think that's it. We can go back to the Slido after I address some questions if we have any.